Right, a very good afternoon to all of you. A warm welcome to you. If you're joining in from Ghana, it's a good afternoon. And if you're joining in from elsewhere, it is a good morning or a good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. You're welcome to today's webinar on effective communication. Pretty soon we would be zooming into the business of the day, but I have the singular honor to find out how you are doing and where you are joining us from. You may feel free to drop it in the chat column in the comment section, whether you're joining us on our social media platforms. Feel free to drop it in your name, where you're joining us from, and your expectations for today's webinar. I will be reading out. I've seen some of the comments and then the greetings coming in. So I would be doing that. But in the meantime, my name is Pelpi Tehoda. I'm the Executive Director for the HR Certification Center, and I will be moderating today's session. We will be having a very beautiful conversation. I know this topic is on the heart of many, especially those who are leading others. And so we would be diving into that conversation pretty shortly. I can see Kweku Owusu Yabua. Good afternoon, Pearl, joining from Accra. Kweku, it's an honor to have you. Let's see who else we have here. We have Philip Benjamin Ayaba saying salutations. Greetings to you too, Philip. Right, let's see who else we got on this call. Let's see who else do we have. Stella, hi. Stella, how are you doing? It's good to have you here. Join us this afternoon on this virtual call. All right, Desmond, hello to you too. Right, feel free to drop your expectation. Oh, somebody says, is it me or the meeting hasn't started? Please, if you can hear me, just give me thumbs up. If you can hear me and you're live in the studio, just give me thumbs up so we can tell Patrick it is not from us. If you can hear me, you can see me, and you're live in the studio, just give me thumbs up. Give me your reactions. Okay, I still see some comments coming in. Okay, Portia, good. You can hear me, you can see me. That's good. So Patrick, you may want to check your internet or your device. I'm pretty sure that that will be rectified for you soon. Okay, all right. Let's see. Feel free to drop in. Somebody says, hello, I'm joining from Kenya. All right. I have a love story about Kenya, but I will share that today. Dorcas, it's good to have you join us all the way from Kenya. All right. So Evelyn says, looking forward to having a great session. We see you, we hear you. Thank you. I see you too. Pretty soon I'll be hearing you. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Joining in from Koforidua, as a leader, I want to learn and dive more into communication skills. Stella, we will bring you insights on that in today's webinar. All right. So that's out of the way. Let's zoom into the business of today. Like I mentioned, my name is Pearl, and I will be moderating today's session with you for the next couple of minutes. We are hopeful to finish this in 1 hour. We would have the conversation. We would also take your questions and provide answers to them. All right. So this webinar is brought to you by the HRCC Consulting Group, the consulting arm of the HR Certification Center. And for all of our HR practitioners on the call who have gone through certification, this webinar is giving out for recertification credit. That is a 1 credit point for general HR. And so if you are certified and you are looking forward to building your recertification point, you have a 1 general credit towards recertification, whether you are associate professional certified, you are a professional certified, or a senior professional certified. You can use this towards your HR recertification credit. All right, so today we are talking about effective communication. We are looking at how leaders, how functional leaders can get their team on board with change. All right. We understand and proud to come in on this call from all of the research and speaking with all stakeholders. We understand that change can be challenging. Change can come with a lot of uncertainty. It can also come with a lot of confusion. And sometimes it can throw your department or even your entire organization off board if not handled well. We also quite understand that they say change is the only constant thing. And I'm pretty sure that you think the word change has become a buzzword. But right here on this call, we will let you know that every organization will go through some level of change, whether minor or major. All right. Now, when we even take it to the national level, nations will go through change, whether they are going through political change, whether they are going through social change or whatever change, economic change or whatever change it is. So, as I said, like organizations as well. Then on our individual level, we also go through change. Is either we are going through change on the family front or we are going through change personally. Every living organism, and by extension, every organization, because we consider organizations as living. And so every living thing will go through some form of change. And what we seek to do today is how we can leverage effective communication to make all of the uncertainty, all of the confusion that comes with change to be minimal so that we can navigate these and have the results that we seek to have with every change that we are going through. And today, our resource person will bring us insight into these conversations. We want to make it conversational enough. So as the presentations are going on, feel free to drop your questions in the chat column in the comment section. We will read them out, and then our resource person can provide insight or share some experiences on the questions that would come. All right. This topic is very important, and so we have a very important resource person, a very experienced resource person when it comes to communication, not just communication on personal front, but also communication from the angle of organizations. And this afternoon, this morning, or this evening, depending on where you're joining us from, we have Lizzie-Ann Kwagbaji to bring us insight into that. And so Lizzie-Ann is a chartered management consultant and organizational effectiveness coach. specializing in leadership development and human capital strategy. As the country director for Becker Africa, she brings over 10 years of experience coaching senior executives across the public and the private sector in West Africa and Europe. As a certified expert in transformational coaching and ADR, Lizzie-Ann is listed mediator and arbitrator for the National Labour Commission. She holds an MBA in leadership and sustainability and is also currently a PhD candidate in sustainable development and diplomacy. She is dedicated to empowering leaders to foster authentic leadership and cultivate high performance organizational culture. And so today we will be having this important conversation with Lizzie-Ann Kwagbeji. Lizzie, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Pat. Pearl.
Hi.
And a very good afternoon to your audience. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Yes, great to have you. I trust you're doing well.
I'm awesome by the grace of God.
And you're looking fabulous, amazingly in your yellow and black.
Grace and grace.
Okay, Lizzie, I'm sure you have seen the circulations from all of our conversations. We are talking about effective communication, and we are focusing on how teams can be on the same playing field when it comes to change. How can we leverage effective communication to do that? But before we zoom into the technical aspect, give us your opening insight into this topic.
Thank you so much, Pearl. And it's interesting to read the expectations of your audience. And I must say that when I received the invite and I saw the flyer, my expectation, I also have expectations for the conversation. It's kind of tilted to what I'm seeing on the page. So I was thinking, we all go to school, we do a lot on communication. But if we are looking about transforming teams, bringing everybody on board to change, then I think we should be elevating the conversation from effective communication to effective workplace conversations. Because we complicate. But if we want to see change, we want to maintain change, and we want to elevate change, then we should move beyond just communicating into having effective conversations that bring you the real sustainable impact that every institution or every workplace desires and should have. So it's beyond communicating. Conversation defines the level of relationship in the workplace. So if we want to see change, the workplace must work towards having effective conversations, elevating the relationships through structured format. We'll get into that, into seeing visible change that is continuous.
Lizzie, I'm interested in the workplace conversation. On top of my head, I'm just thinking that it's not business as usual where, we pass on an instruction and we call it communication and we expect that the receiver would get the understanding and carry it out, whether you appreciate it, whether it's serving the purpose or not. I have given an instruction, so carry it out. But I want to take you on workplace conversations. Give us a bit of insight into that. Then I will take you on the technical aspect. What is workplace conversation, or what would you say is workplace conversation?
So basically, it's about elevating the relationships at the workplace through effective conversations. Conversation, like I said, in communication, you have you have a sender, you have a receiver, you have a message, and then you have feedback. And most times we work within that structure. But with conversations, you go beyond the structure into dealing with the people who facilitate the conversation, the communication, to build relationship around the message, to help the receiver understand what is the import of what we want communicated to you. So you have to, in workplace conversations, we are looking at structured conversations where before you even communicate, you already know the desired outcome that you are expecting. So it's not just writing a memo. The world of work has shifted from directives and prerogatives into engagements. So workplace conversations brings you into the space where everybody involved in the workplace works in an engaged manner. Everybody is involved, brings you into appreciative inquiry, AI, not the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So how do we communicate? How do we engage the people in a manner in which they feel included? There is ownership, there is illumination, they recognize exactly what it is that needs to be done, how it needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and most importantly, why it needs to be done. Most times we only send the what, and now HR has transformed. So you have HR specialists or HR professionals who now move beyond the what to how. But what gives you the effect, the impact that you are looking out for is the why.
Lizzie, this is getting interesting already, and I'm pretty sure that questions are dropping for you. We would open up for questions, but we want to look at this workplace conversation as you would refer to it, and how that can be leveraged to help us navigate change. Like I mentioned, whether employees appreciate it or yes, organizations will go through different phases of change. All right. Whether we are changing our policy, we are revamping, we are changing our product and services, we are even changing, the leadership of the organization, we will still go through change. I want you to share your insight on what this whole change thing is about. Why are we talking about change in the business setting or in the organizational setting? And what does it mean for businesses to go through change?
Well, there is a very high demand in the world of work. I keep referring to the world of work because just yesterday I was at GIMPA and I was giving a lecture. And I told the participants, because it's a senior level, it's a professional class, that the world of work has changed. And as adults, we spend about 80 to 90%, if not more, of your adult life in work. So if that is what it is, then it means employers must be very interested in adding value to the lives of the people that they work with. And how do we add value to the life and the career of the people that we work with? It's building systems and structures that helps them through that transformation journey. You want to bring change into your institution. You want to see increased productivity. You are bringing in a new product. You are taking a new service line. Then it means there is need to apply. I would come back to some of the principles, even though you don't want to go technical. We call it in our transformation model, we call it appreciative inquiry, which was, you have the 5 I's designed by Dandana and David Copperrider. It talks about inclusivity, inspiration, illumination, inquiry, and integrity. So before we even initiate change of systems and structures, the first thing we need to initiate as an employer or as HR professionals is change of mindset. The transformation of the mindset of the people that you work with. And that's how come I say, let's elevate communication to conversation. Because if we are talking about transformation of mindset, then we are now dealing with the human beings who are now coming to implement change, influence the change you want to see, and then advocate for the sustainability of the change. So if we are changing systems, or we are adopting a new policy, or we are redesigning our structure, whatever it is, we need to, after putting your paperwork, the first level is sit down and map out how do we engage with the people who are going to influence this change, implement this change, who this change will affect. So inclusivity, how do we involve them? So your communication starts right from the inception stage. When you perceive or you see the need for change, you begin inclusion. Include everybody in the change process. That's where the conversation starts. Why do we need this change? What kind of change? First, what kind of change do we need? Why do we need it? Check out for significance, help the people understand. And then you move to, if not, what else? Because most times employers, and for that matter, the management always meet with all their strategic partners, external consultants and experts, and design change, and now bring it and dump it on the people. But if you want an organizational-wide change, then right from the inception, you begin to include everybody. Why? What first? What needs to change? Why it needs to change? What if it doesn't change? What will be the impact? What if things change? What will be the impact? Then you move to the next stage, where everybody brings on board their ideas, how they feel about it. And remember, this will require a brainstorming engagement. And part of inclusivity is what will lead you into the ownership of the change at the end. And then, as they bring in their ideas, you put it down. Whether you use it or not, I'll come to that level if we have time. You engaging them and getting their feedback or getting their views or ideas about the change that you are contemplating automatically helps them to feel that we are already a part of this. Would you want me to continue?
Please go. I have a question, and I'm sure my audience would also be asking that, but continue, and I will pick your mind on it before we go to the next one.
Good. So after you have included them, the next layer is to inquire. As part of the inclusivity is inquiry. You want to know, what do they know about the things that need to change? Explore with them. What are the benefits of this change? How will it impact the institution? How will it impact? What impact will it make on the overall objective of the institution? What impact will it make on the people that work in the institution? Because anything that we want changed, even if it is the logo of the company, most times we just go and do it. Have their input. Then they would bring in their ideas. And then that calls for, inquiry calls for deep listening, recognition of their contributions. And you move to the next stage where you provide illumination, help them to understand and have a deeper insight into where are we headed. You inspire them, provide inspiration. This is where, let them see the bigger picture. And in creating the bigger picture, even outside organization, I think this is a good tool that all of us as professionals need to know. Anytime you are showing the big picture, draw the people into the picture. So they see themselves in the picture. They see themselves as part of the transformation journey. And then they can tell you, oh, when I see myself, I think I can do better here. I can do better here. What is he doing? Is adding value to you and removing all the roadblocks or bottlenecks that would lay ahead. If you push through with that change, that they will not be open. So in that process, you're already removing roadblocks and future resistance. So you collectively dream together.
Listen, let's stay on the future resistance. I kind of appreciate the framework you've shared with us, the 5 I's. And I'm here thinking this is a lot of work. It won't just come. You have to do it, go back, review, and do it again. Is it automatic that after going through the framework, everybody will be aligned with the change? If not, in your experience, why do you think some people resist change?
People would always resist change because of one fundamental. And all the other things that will come out and reflect. A lot of people will give you 10 steps to resistance of change, 20 reasons why people, it all boils down to one thing: perception. Perception. In
What
conflict
do you mean
resolution,
by
we have,
perception?
yes, in conflict resolution, we have the circles of perception. Conflict always starts from perception. Resistance always starts from perception. And there is always a trigger. Something is being said, something is not being said. Information is being withheld. There is no clarity. So once there is no clarity, automatically the people begin to perceive, oh, then fear of being left out, or fear of losing, or all the different fears come into play. So that's why the inclusion at the very initial stage comes in, so that there is enough. Your role as a professional, your role as management is to provide clarity, a lot of clarity. And that's where the creating the picture comes in. That's where the illumination comes in. People must see, and they must see it well. There shouldn't be any ambiguity. There shouldn't be any vagueness. Don't leave room for people to think.
Lizzie, is it everybody, quote and unquote, business leaders that can go through this effective organizational conversation, or you think there must be some sort of training? Can anybody just get up and say that I am the manager and so I am having this conversation?
That is why we have a lot of issues in the workplace. There definitely has to be training. And Pearl, we are here having this conversation. It's a learning platform. I'm looking forward to the questions and the contributions that I'll see from our audience. Yeah. You never know it all. And the world is continually transforming. So there are new interventions. People are always doing research. Even negative experiences add on to help you add value. So there definitely has to be training. Training on competencies, skills, and tools in managing effective workplace conversations for change. So before we implement change, we must have a clear framework designed proactively and intentionally to have a conversation for the change. And that is not just through writing memos. That is not done just through one-off staff deba. It must be planned. It must be intentional. And it must have all these elements in mind to know what is it, why, if yes, why, if not, why not, what other options do we have? And then collectively, we all create that picture and have ownership. So there is need for training. And remember, there is a high level of coaching required for change and transformation. And when I say coaching, I don't mean sitting down, having one-on-one, using questions, having the right skills to ask questions so that you can co-creatively and practically create collectively solutions that will drive that change. So there's need for training.
For training, right. So, of course, we have the framework. We need to be trained. And example is what we are doing now, setting the foundation. This is just 1 hour. And so we must have, effective training on how to go about organizational conversations in relation to change, right? So you have given us the framework. You've advised us to have training so that we are better positioned to go through these conversations. Listen, let me play the devil's advocate. I am a CEO and I want to implement a business change in my organization. All right. And take, for example, I've gone through all of the framework and I was anticipating to get about 90 to 95% of my people in alignment with where I am going. Unfortunately, I got just about 70% of the people to agree with me that this is where the business should go. What should I be doing as the one leading the change? What should I be doing with the rest of the team? Do I pause with implementing the change until I get everybody in alignment? Or from experience, you think that I could kickstart the change and manage the rest of the 30% of the workforce? Share your practical insight with us.
So in this case, the question is, do I take the 99 and leave the one behind?
Exactly.
So
In this case, 70 and 30.
So if you ask me, I'll give you two scenarios. The first scenario is, how did you come about getting the 70? Whatever you did.
I shared where the
So
business
it's a
is
rhetorical
going.
question.
Okay, beautiful.
I'm driving towards the answer. So whatever
Okay.
you did to get the 70, make sure you make that ingrained in the minds of the 70, the hearts of the 70. Let the 70 have ownership and let the 70 become advocates for the change. Because if you keep pushing, it's not you. So now you have 71 people advocating for change. So through your advocacy, you keep asking, why the resistance? So you would want to get into deep level engagement with the 30 while you have the 70 support and bring it back to inclusivity, engagement. What do you see about the change that you think is not helpful? Let them share their views. Don't just rule them out, or else they can become canker. That 30 will slowly become 80 over time because they are a force. Then you begin to ask leaders, ask questions. You want to have them to have, first of all, buy-in into the change. What small changes can we start immediately? If not this, what else? Let them know that you appreciate, you respect, you want to understand them. You want to understand the resistance. And most times, people take positions because of underlying interest. So the key to be able to begin to get into the 30 is to try to understand what is the underlying interest that is make them take the position to resist this change. Somebody will tell you can never get 100%. Yes. But even if you don't get the 100%, and they know that I want to understand your interest, I want to appreciate your worldview about this so that we can align. It creates room for them to share. And once they share, that's where the change comes in because it requires a lot of technicalities. when they share, how do you rope them in? Most times, the people who resist change, some of them may have very valid reasons that if you open up to listen to, would even add value to what you want to be done. But just making that time to listen to them. Remember, if I use the definition of communication, there's a sender, there's a receiver, there's a message. Most times we send, but we don't get the feedback. In the communication model, communication ends when there is feedback, because it is the feedback that helps you to understand whether the people fully appreciate where you are headed or they have other views. But in conversations, structured conversations, what we have, because it's a co-creation, it's a collaborative conversation downward from the base, we all navigate to the top. What happens is, this time round, we are not waiting for feedback because we are all putting it together and we all have joint ownership. So check for the underlying reasons.
Right. So you are advising us that we make the 70, or those who are on our side in alignment, we make them advocate so that they can get the others on board. But of course, you do not just push them aside, but you must come to terms with why the resistance and listen to them and try to find solutions or try to address them so you can win them over to the other side. Of course, in advertising this program, we are professing that change is easier when everyone is on the same side or everyone is in alignment. Of course, I'm sure that my listeners are saying it's ideal to have the 100% so that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. But when you are not achieving the 100%, make sure that you give them a listening ear. And those who are in alignment should also become advocate
Now,
for
it's
the
beyond
change.
just giving them a listening ear. Engagement.
Right.
Engagement.
Right, right. Don't just listen, but
Engage.
engage them
To
as well.
understand the underlying interest.
Right. Okay, we will be opening up for questions pretty shortly. If you are just joining us, this is the Effective Communication Series. It's one of our monthly webinars brought to you by the HRCC Consulting Group, a consulting arm for the HR Certification Center. And we have been having this conversation with Lisiane Kwagbeji, who is, very big on communication and also people coaching. Lizzie, I know this is out of line, but I will take your mind on it. But before I get to that, how can our listeners come to the conclusion that I have achieved effective communication or effective conversation? At the end of the day, are there check boxes that I must check to say that communication has happened between myself, the other party, or between myself and the employees? What are the check boxes you would propose for us to check so that we can agree that we've truly gone through effective communication?
Yeah, so the first checkbox you want to look out for is 1. Have I been heard? 2. Have I heard the concerns of the people or the interest of the people concerning this change? 3. Where is the missing gap? Once you close that gap, then the next is, after your engagement, you check for ownership. Do the people have ownership? Have they had ownership? Because once they hear you and they know they have also been heard, and there are no gaps, no clarity gaps, because there is not information and clarity on what the change is, why the change, who is involved in the change, what are the expectations for the change. Then the next place is ownership. Have the people had ownership of it? Who is accountable for what? Do we have clearly defined responsibilities? And do the people who are responsible for that, do they understand it? Have they owned it? Not management has given us this, but this is what I am expected to do. This is what I know is my contribution towards this transformation journey.
Beautiful, beautiful. One word for me, the initial stages, there must be clarity. The one doing the communication, the one receiving the communication. Have I been heard? Have they taken my side of the information? So both parties must be on the same page. That is clarity for me. Whatever the change is, there must be clarity from both sides. Is there a gap? And if there is a gap, you must find what is causing the gap. And of course, the summary of the bottom is that there must be ownership. Once we can confidently say there is ownership, then we can say that we have done an effective communication. My listeners are dropping the questions. We will take that. We are a few minutes to closing this session. Before we open up for questions, Lizzie, let's talk on sustainability. So there must be a change, or there is a need for a change. We've gone through the framework, we've done the conversation, the organizational conversation. There has been an acceptance of the change. People are in alignment, they are on the same page, there is ownership. How do we ensure that after acceptance, what must leaders be doing to translate this acceptance into sustained performance? All we wanted is for people to accept the change. Now the change has been accepted, but it doesn't end there. We now must put things into action. What would be your proposal for leadership? What must leaders of this change be doing to ensure that there is sustained performance?
Thank you, Pearl. So what leaders have to do is to build and maintain sustained performance. I wouldn't even say sustained performance, continuous performance. Continuous performance enhancement. Because when you say continuous performance, maybe we are moving at one trajectory, but you want to elevate it further. So the change has brought performance, increased performance. Now we want to enhance that increased performance. And one way to do that is to build cultures that last. You can only sustain change when you build cultures that last. And one of those cultures is continuous engagement and having an open door policy, where you don't just see the change and that is it. Everybody's excited and you go. With time, the momentum comes down. But the leader must always be involved in following up. When we took this initiative, how has it helped us work better? What are the visible results that we have seen? What else can we do to add value to the visible change that we are seeing? How has it helped us? How has it helped the organization? Remember, you must always draw the picture where people see their interest in the change. So it's not just about the systems we have put in place. How is it aiding productivity? Outside productivity, how about the person's professional development? How about the person's fulfillment? So you rope that in. So, and we can use staff debtors for that. We can use surveys for that. And in closing up with the change, remember, you can also do one-on-one, especially with people who had initially resisted the change and came on board. Because if they are not satisfied with their expected or desires of the impact of the change, they'll roll back into their resistance. So you always want to touch base with them and ask, how is it progressing? And that is where HR comes in. How do we track the progress? And most importantly, how do we celebrate the little wins while we wait for the overall picture? That is very crucial for sustainability. Magnifying the little wins that the change has brought, acknowledging the people and appreciating their efforts, acknowledging that, yes, we know this is new, but you are doing great. Appreciative inquiry, magnifying the good. You are doing well. What else can you do better? So you are not only acknowledging, but you're acknowledging and motivating and triggering them to move forward towards making it work better. So it moves from just sustaining change to elevating change and adding value, continuous value. And that is what brings organizational-wide transformation, because people feel that I am seeing the growth, I'm seeing the impact, and I am a part of it.
Beautiful. Lizzie, I want to continue this conversation, but interestingly, we are almost out of time. I know we would have you again and we would meet up on other platforms. We would open up for questions, but I know it's not part of our previous conversation. I want you to share a practical change process you have taken as a business executive and how communication has helped you to achieve, the desired outcome. Once you're thinking about it, we want to take a commercial break and listen to our sponsors for this program. That's the HR Certification Center and the HRCC Consulting Group. And when we get back, we will take that before we zoom into the questions from our listeners. I hope that's okay with you.
Very well.
Right. So we'll take a commercials and then we would get back to the question and answers popping into the chat column, and our resource person would respond to it. Stick and stay, don't go anywhere.
Certification Center commits to a higher standard.
Why do 93% of the world's leading multinational companies prefer certified professionals? Because they tend to be committed to higher standards and ethics and maintain an informed intercultural competency. Whether you're seeking to build a career or to upgrade your HR professional career, you need to get trained and certified at the HR Certification Center today. Our experience in training and certifying HR professionals is unparalleled. We're trusted to offer a comprehensive portfolio of advanced professional credentials for the HR professionals worldwide, and today, more than 500,000 HR professionals worldwide in 125 plus countries proudly maintain our credentials as a mark of higher professional distinction. HR Certification Center. Call or WhatsApp today on 0244 122 855.
Right, welcome back. We would hear from Lizzie and share her practical example with us, and then we can take the question. So Lizzie, over to you.
Thank you very much. I was wondering, is it a personal or organizational?
Any that you feel comfortable. We just want to see effective communication at play.
Okay. So I had an opportunity sometime last year to be part of a restructuring of an institution. And it was a very tough contract or service, because there was a lot of work to be done and a lot of mindset shifts. So what I did was all the things I told you, I'm now coming to put it into practice. First of all, immediately I got engaged as a consultant, engaged with the management, got to know what they think needs to change. And then once I got their direction, I now engaged with the people. And in engaging with the people, I didn't start from, this is what is not working, that is not what is not working. I had a DEBA, asked management, set up a DEBA, bring all your people, let's have a conversation. And one of the things was, worked with my meeting sheets, the 5 I's. First, started with strengths. What is working in this organization? Because I was using strategy to rope them into the conversation. Not what is not working here, because the moment you say what is not working here, people will give you 1 million things and it triggers negative energy and they just it shuts down creativity. So what is working here? Everybody, I put a flip chart, but everybody was talking and I was ticking. Then I realized that, if I'm ticking, I need to get somebody from the crowd to do the writing, ownership. Then we moved to the next place. When they showed what was being, I now asked the question to listen for their interest, listen for value. What can we build? Do you think we need to build on in this institution? Did you see? I didn't go and tell them, as a consultant, I've done diagnostic, this and this and this, and this is what I think you need to know. What do you think you can build on in this institution? They came up with their ideas. That was the initial stage. And then then I moved to the next sheets, creating the vision on my sheets. I think I'll share something with you that you can share with the participants.
Right.
Where are you going if you remain where you are? Everybody came up, we wrote. And then what do you think needs to be done at institutional level, at departmental level, and then at a personal level? Remember, check for the underlying interest. Once they put that down, that became a handbook for engagement with management. And then they now realize that their initial direction would have left a lot of gaps that would have opened room for resistance. So we now incorporated the views of the people, packaged it, came back for another level of engagement with them. And at this level, the last sheet that I needed to tick before they could roll out with the formal conversations for the implementation was, who owns what? Closed with commitment. So there was no room for clarity, no room for perceptions. By the time we left the room, everybody knew what was coming and where it was headed, put together all the work, and then now had trainings for management on how to begin to engage the people in the rollout. So it's a lot of work. Change is not easy, but once there is clarity and there is inclusivity and the type of engagement, I think we can have continuous things.
Lizzie, thank you. This is free consulting that they have to pay some dollars for, but they got it free right here on this webinar. And I'm sure that this can be replicated even at departmental level. So whatever Lizzie went through, you can still go through that to achieve the desired outcome for your department as well. Administrators, if you can help me with the questions, we have a few minutes to go so we can get Lizzie's insight on them. Right, so this is Vida Ayoko Lai. It says, when there are differing opinions, so when there are different opinions or high pressure situations, how do you help maintain open and respectful conversations, please? So different opinions, high pressure situations, how do you maintain open and respectful conversation?
Vida,
yeah.
So the question is, we all have different opinions. Check where the gap is. And always don't try to be the one preparing the solution. Rope the people in. When people have different opinions, what it means is they have an expectation of what they think should be that is not. So throw back the question, why do you think ABCD should be instead of da 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 da? We are talking about respectful conversations. What that means is you have shown the person, reflected to the person that I respect your opinion. I would like to know more about what you want. Once you listen, you as the professional, you would now be in a position to know where the gaps are between what you know and what should be, and what they don't know and what should be. So you take a bit of what they know, fill the gap in your response question. How about, and when you are responding, you don't say, what you say is ridiculous. Have you thought about it? Do you even know what you are saying? But, oh, I appreciate what you have said. Now, if I heard you, you said A, B, C, D. You have picked the gap, and then you now say, how about da 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 da? How would that align with what you say for us to get to where we want? Remember, you are looking for ownership. So you have to be patient to get them in alignment, because when you put it that way, then they are open to see the other side.
Right. Vida or Vida, there you have it. Kweku also Yeboah. How do you ensure or prevent the 30%? I'm sure the person is referring to my question. How do you ensure or prevent the 30% who are not aligned with the change from influencing the 70% who supports and champions it? I'm pretty sure, Lizzie, you answered that. You just want to do a summary for Kweku.
Kweku, strategic engagement. And Vida's answer, I think, would help to suffice to respond to this.
To Kweku's
If
own
not,
as well.
if not what is on the table, and if not what you have, what else do you think should be? Give them the work to do the thinking, to fill the gap. So engagement, don't leave them, keep engaging, exploring with them. What else? What else? Why? After the what, always check for the why.
So Desmond, I'm sure Desmond's question, we answered it. How can we have effective communication at the workplaces? Lizzie spoke to that already, so we would move on to the other one. It says earlier you mentioned that change begins with a mindset. How can one effectively communicate the need for change to a leader who has been successful with traditional methods and is strongly resistant to new approaches?
Zoe, that's where the mindset shift comes. Use positive questions, and coaching comes into play here. Appreciative inquiry. Instead of, why are you resisting change? You want to ask, what else would you prefer? Instead of, what is the problem? You want to ask, what is working that we can build on? What else do we need to do? Instead of asking, who caused this? And why is it this way? You want to move towards to, how can we move forward to achieve our collective goal? So you must be intentional about using positive questions to open up for inquiry. Remember the 5 I's, inquiry, to be able to understand the underlying interest. It's what can help people shift their mindset. Else they'll be fixated. This is what I know, status quo, this is how I've done it, this is what has worked. But outside what has worked, instead of getting into arguments as a professional, you want to get into brainstorming. So if not this, what are your thoughts? What else? The person says it. But if not that, what else? If you know what should be, then you ask, how about ABCD? Say, no, it doesn't work. Why do you think it doesn't work? Then the person gets into thinking, reflective thinking. And what that does is it puts them on the platform where they begin to weigh the two options and bridge the gap. Once you bridge the gap, clarity comes to them. They say, oh, I see, maybe it cannot be this, but we can do it this way. Then there is ownership.
Right. So Zoe used positive questioning to achieve that. Now we are back with Vida. What if the group in alignment is less compared to those who do not align with the change. So a change is communicated, those in alignment are less than those who are resisting. How would you handle that?
So work proactively to break the silos. You see, now we are getting into 70-30, we are putting the people in silos.
Yes.
So how do we break the silos? It's by engagement again. Empower. Why? I come back to the question I said in my earlier submission. Why do we even have the 30 in alignment? When we understand why they believed in this, then we now want to use that why to engage the others on what else? What else would you like to have? What else do you think we need to do as management? What else outside this? And please, let us be open-minded. At times, the change we think we want and the route we want to use, the route we want to use to get the change may not ultimately be the best way or be the only way. But opening up to hear the 70 who are against or who are resisting can help you to have other ways and other options that you can add towards driving to your destination for transformation. So don't just zoom them that these are resistant. You may want to find the underlying reason for their position and create an alignment through questioning.
Right. Be open-minded and use the same approach to get the others back on track. It could also mean that the change you're proposing may not be right at this time. And so when you listen to the others, it would open up other areas to you. What circumstances can create this gap of change? I think Lizzie responded to that. When they have perception, they have underlying interest that you're not speaking to, resistance could be high. All right.
And lack
Can
of
you please,
clarity.
lack of clarity as well. Right. Chantel is asking, can you please go through the framework again? I'm sure she's referring to the 5 I's.
Is it the meeting sheets or which of them? The meeting sheets you need to use to bring in the team on board?
So Chantal, if you can just type that in. I was thinking she was referring to the 5 I's that you
Okay.
spoke about, but she could do the clarification for us as well. Yeah.
So with the 5 I's, inclusivity, bringing inclusion, inspiration, providing inspiration, helping them to understand the bigger picture, illumination, co-creating the bigger picture and putting them in the picture, helping them find their place in the picture. Inquiry, opening up for the engagement, not coming with closed minds or directives and memo. Before you sit and write your memo, engage. Close the gaps with the information you get from the engagement. And most importantly, that was one I left out, which is the most crucial one, integrity. The people must see integrity in what you are communicating. They must understand that you mean what you are saying, you understand what you are saying, and you stand by it to the benefit of not only the organization, but the organization. And you must also practice whatever it is you are advocating for.
Right, Chantel, there you have it, unless, of course, you're referring to something else. So Linda is asking, so the 5 I's is what Lizzie just went through: inclusivity, inspiration, illumination, and inquiry, and last one is integrity. So the 5 I's for your engagement. Kweku, so I'm sure this will be the last one. And of course, once we are done, you can still send your questions. We would find time to respond to them via our digital platforms. So we take this one from Kweku. Kweku says, as a manager, how can I distinguish between healthy skepticism and active resistance? The words are a lot. How can I differentiate between skepticism and active resistance? Lizzie, over to you.
Kweku, unfortunately, I'm not as I would have reflected the question back to you. How would you distinguish? You already know that you have already said it. There's healthy skepticism.
Yes.
There's no in reality, there's no skepticism that is healthy. Skepticism cannot be healthy. If somebody is a skeptist, then you want to see that there is a deep-seated perception. Something is being said, something is not being said. Information is being withheld. There is no clarity. So you need to understand where is the lack of clarity. So it's not healthy, Kweku. What it means is whenever there's no clarity, there's perception, you are in the red zone. You are set for resistance. So your healthy skepticism is a dormant resistance. It's a dormant resistance. And active resistance are those who openly say, we don't believe in this, we don't stand for this, if I get you right. So once you get those people, you ask the question, why don't you stand for it? What do you think will work best? Don't just stop at the why. Know what they want because they have expectations. Look for the gap. Close the gap. For the healthy skepticism, there's no healthy skepticism. There's lack of clarity. Maybe the information communication is not being done well. Also, for those ones, throw back the question, what is it that needs to be done from your end? What do you think should be done? What is holding you back from this change? And once you know what is holding them back, you can now try to close the gap with the information you have, what they should know that they do not know, or what they know that you do not know that can add value to implementation of the smooth implementation of the thing.
Right. This is all time will allow us. I want to say a very big thank you to Lizzie-Ann Kwagbeji. I know she's a very busy woman, but she made time to be with us. And we want to say a very big thank you to you, Lizzie, for joining us, and for the over hundreds that are joining us on today's call. Thank you for making time to join us. We will be sharing the activity ID for those who want to use it for recertification. It will be shared via your emails, okay, right on your screen, projected. You may want to take a screenshot of it. For the sake of integrity, do not share with anybody who wasn't on this call. Lizzie spoke about integrity, and everything we do right here at the HR Certification Center, we want to ensure that we act with integrity. So do not share to those who are or were not on this call. So it's being approved for one recertification credit. We want to say a very big thank you to you. Before we sign off, this is just one of our monthly webinars. And so for you to be in touch, to get information on everything we do here, you have to connect with us on our socials, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, YouTube is HR Certification Center. Once you type that in, you would find us, follow us, engage with us. And so whatever we share, you can get the benefits. And Lizzie promised sharing us some checklist for your use. We would also be sharing that via your emails as you have provided, or via your contact as you have provided for us. Before we take leave of you, Lizzie, we want to take your final words for our participants, and then I'll hand over to the administrators.
My final words for my colleague professionals is that let's always seek to elevate from communication to conversation. Seek to be heard and seek to hear the people that you are trying to communicate with, so that you can know where the gap is and create alignment to bring everybody on board. And most importantly, one of the biggest gaps is lack of clarity. So always ensure that there is no room for ambiguity. Don't give people room for perceptions. You want to bring everybody on board. Let them understand that you are interested in understanding their interest about the change. Let them know what, the why, the what not, what if not, and what's next. Thank you so much for having me, and God bless.
Thank you to Lizzie. God bless you as well. Administrators, over to you.
So, being a part of leading this conversation, we are grateful. Thank you, Lizzie, that you were able to join us. For those of us who want to have the bigger conversation on this topic, there will be a workshop from the 26th to 27th of March, where we're going to have a larger conversation, which this subject will feature. And so you can contact us on our consulting line 059 944 4999, 059 944 4999. Just contact us, WhatsApp us, call us, and join the workshop, the bigger workshop. And that's going to be in person at the center, the HR Certification Center at East Legon. You can contact us, we'll give you all the details. You can register your team, you can register yourself, and join us. It's a 2-day workshop on how we can coach for effective people management in order to be able to get the best result from our team. We just started a new year and we're expecting that we get results. And one of the best ways to do that is to be able to lead our team properly. And so we invite you all to join us. So you can contact us. Our number is still scrolling on the screen. You can contact us. Thank you very much for joining. We are grateful that you're able to be part of this conversation. And we hope to see you at the coaching session and our other webinars. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Certification Center commits to a higher standard.
Why do 93% of the world's leading multinational companies prefer certified professionals? Because they tend to be committed to higher standards and ethics and maintain an informed intercultural competency. Whether you're seeking to build a career or to upgrade your HR professional career, you need to get trained and certified at the HR Certification Center today. Our experience in training and certifying HR professionals is unparalleled. We're trusted to offer a comprehensive portfolio of advanced professional credentials for the HR professionals worldwide, and today, more than 500,000 HR professionals worldwide in 125 plus countries proudly maintain our credentials as a mark of higher professional distinction. HR Certification Center. Call or WhatsApp today on 0244 122 855.